Greetings. My name is Serpent Sage, and this is Dragon Embodiment. And I'm coming through with a message. So, in today's realm, there is a lot of information that is actively available to us. Now, in order for us to not become overwhelmed and fall into the spell of being overly idealistic, it is best to be very practical with all of the information that you come across. Well, first, discerning whether or not what information resonates with you and what does not, and simply utilizing that information that is useful and valuable so that you can initiate the process of gaining the wisdom and understanding of what it is that you're doing with it. A lot of people, they just think that, when studying the occult or studying, spiritual systems, that it's about information hoarding. That is completely wrong. That is not a valuable mentality to have. It's like sailing across the sea with a boat carrying a bunch of bricks. All of those bricks will eventually sink your ship. You see, this is about, or at least the spiritual path, from my understanding, is about understanding yourself. Period. Understanding yourself, understanding your environment, understanding the part that you play in your environment and how your environment plays a part in your personal spiritual development. It is not about trying to be the most knowledgeable in a room. I would even advise that you would stay away from such a mentality. As they say, comparison is the thief of joy. This is simply about a path of self-mastery. And what path am I talking about? Once again, the path of the dragon, the draconian path. Okay. Being the elite version of yourself, the most excellent version of yourself that you can possibly be. Okay. Another thing that I would like to share is that you should never seek information for the sole purpose of creating an identity, right? And that's not to say that you shouldn't have an identity either. You most definitely should have an identity, but you should never structure yourself based upon somebody else's idea of an identity. Your identity should be self-created and ultimately to serve your life in the present moment, and not, somebody else's order, or, serving the country, or, serving any entity outside of yourself. Okay. Not to say that there's anything wrong with serving any of those things, right? But ultimately, honoring yourself, showing up the best for yourself, and as a result and by default, you do so for others. Okay. A lot of people that I see, that I experience, they are either, I don't want to say overly empathetic, but it's as if they give more than what is necessary. And then you have those people who do not give enough energy to the scenario, so their efforts are in vain. I say this: always strive for balance and harmony. Never give too much. In fact, I'll say this about overgiving. Okay. You see, in any scenario, in any process, you know, it is always important to take measurements, you know, even if your efforts are spontaneous, right? Always bear in mind your intent so that you understand what exactly it is that you're trying to manifest. You know, oftentimes in scenarios where we're working with other people, you know, there's this unconscious or subconscious desire to want to stand out or to impress other people or to basically prove ourselves to other people. Okay. Understand that that is a waste of time. Okay. That is a waste of time. Simply understand the scenario, understand the situation at hand, the task at hand, and give the correct energy to it. Don't give too little. Don't give too much. Give just enough. That way, you have a steady, balanced, healthy perception, right? You are not confused about the outcome, even if things go wrong. You know, you can easily just step back and be like, okay, I should have done things this way, instead of, you know, it being emotional, you know, or more emotional than what it should be. Okay. Stepping outside of that framework of trying to be, right? And simply being, right? Honor yourself. Honor yourself. Always do the best that you can and never be ashamed of doing so. Be very intentional. Be very practical. Do not do things out of vanity. Do things because you are trying to do the right thing, or that you are doing the right thing. Excuse me. I try to avoid using the word try. But honor yourself. Do not honor others. Honor yourself. And things will go about respectively. Okay? This is Serpent Sage of Dragon Embodiment. And I am out of here. Peace.